Our team, we're playing great football right now. You know, offense is playing great. You know, our defense is playing solid defense. We just had a shutout, you know, against the Jets, and it doesn't matter who you're playing, you know, in the NFL. A shutout is hard to get. And, you know, we're playing great. We're playing great team defense, and, you know, we got a great team coming up this week. It's really like a playoff game early in the season. You know, and a lot of these guys haven't even played in the playoff game before, and, you know, it's kind of been my message to these guys, like, you know, this is a playoff game early in the season. This is time for us to, you know, show what we got against a, you know, worthy opponent, and, you know, that's where our focus has been.
Time for today's speed round, brought to you by Verizon 5G built right. And here we go. Peter King. If blank wins this week, I'll start buying the hype.
Denver. I mean, Von Miller just said it all. It's got to be like a playoff game for those guys. Yeah, they've outscored the opposition by 50 points so far. We know the opposition's 0-10. They've got to show America, and they've got to show themselves that they're capable of beating a team like Baltimore and winning a game in a playoff-type atmosphere.
Well, for all reasons we discussed earlier in the program as it relates to the recent history of the Rams, Cardinals, back and forth, I say the Cardinals. They get to 4-0 by exercising that demon that is the L.A. Rams. Then I'll believe the hype that the Cardinals really are one of the best teams in the NFL. All right, if blank loses this week, I'll be hovering over the panic button.
Seattle. Because, you know, you're right, Mike. For Seattle to go 1-3, to lose 3 games in a row for the first time in Russell Wilson's 10 seasons as quarterback, the number of problems that they would then have trying to get back into the playoff race in their own division, the best overall division in football. Now, the AFC West may come up with a pretty good argument here if Denver stays good. But I would be really, really concerned if after one quarter of the season, if I'm the Seahawks, that I'm going to be that far down in such a great division.
You know, I don't know what it means yet to be 1-3 in a 17-game season. In a normal season, 16 games, you get to 3 losses, you're halfway to your maximum if you want to get into the playoffs as a practical matter. Now, sometimes you get in 9-7, sometimes you don't get in at 10-6, but 1-3 with 13 to go, I don't know how that's going to feel, but if the Chiefs fall to 1-3 in the division they're in with the Broncos and the Raiders and the Chargers, and you have to climb over teams, and you got to jockey for wild card position, I can't believe I'd even be considering the possibility of the Chiefs not making the playoffs. But if they somehow lose in Philadelphia to a team that is inferior to them, then it's time to recalibrate how good the Chiefs really are. So I would panic if the Chiefs somehow lose to the Eagles. I don't think they will. Blank has been the most underrated player so far this season, Peter.
Well, I'm going to give you somebody who you probably wouldn't expect. And also, you may just think, "Oh, that's a gimmicky pick," but in my opinion, the best player that we're not talking about nearly enough is Shaq Thompson. And to me, look, the Carolina Panthers have allowed 10 points a game, and Mike, every time you see an extended highlight package on the Carolina Panthers in the first 3 weeks, Shaq Thompson's in about 6 of the plays. And so, to me, this guy who is maybe, he's not going to get the sack stats of a Reddick or a Burns, okay? But to me, I think he is a vitally important player in one of the 2 or 3 most surprising teams in the NFL.
Now, I got a couple I'm going to mention real quick. It's hard to say that Derek Carr has been underrated, but I feel like he still kind of gets lost in the shuffle because the narrative has skewed away from him, and we just assume it's just a matter of time before it falls apart. I think he needs to get more credit for what he's done with the Raiders. He's basically become John Gruden after 3 quarter years with Gruden, and he's exactly what Gruden wants at quarterback, and it's working, and they got an opportunity to go to 4-0 on Monday night against the Chargers. They pull that off. They need to be taken very seriously. But my official pick will be Kirk Cousins, because I love him not. I love him not. But, we were ready to write him off completely based upon what we saw from the Vikings in the preseason, which wasn't much. There was the vaccination controversy. They've fallen out of love with him. He's going to be done after this year. They've got Kellerman ready to go. He's been spectacular this season for the Vikings. And not that he's going to get himself into the MVP race. Not that he's one of the best 5 in the NFL. Dalvin Cook is a believer. Of course, he's the guy who gives him the football. It's self-preservation to be a believer. But I think that Cousins hasn't gotten enough notice for what he's done so far. The rookie quarterback...
He hasn't gotten enough notice because they're 1-2.
Well, but he's played very well, and they should have beaten the Cardinals.
Yeah, well.
But they should have beaten the Cardinals. If they had a kicker that could make a 37-yard field goal, they'd be 2-1. All right, the rookie quarterback that will have the best performance on Sunday is who?
This is, again, when I saw these topics, the one thing that I looked at is, tell me which rookie quarterback do I actually like the most right now? And I think Zach Wilson is going to have a good game on Sunday. Now, I am totally on record as saying that, the New York Jets didn't do enough with their roster to protect Zach Wilson before the season. But to me, they got a wounded animal coming into the Meadowlands. They've got a very unhealthy receiving core with the Tennessee Titans. A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. Hey, it's a surprise. Julio Jones injured. A.J. Brown and Julio Jones both might not play. The Jets' defense has not been woeful. And I think the Jets have a chance to go out and score an upset Sunday. I think Zach Wilson will play well.
They are missing Marcus May, their franchise-tagged safety this weekend. That's not good for the Jets. Yet another blow to their defense. I'm going to say Justin Fields, just because of all the criticism, the withering complaints directed at Matt Nagy. I think they're going to whip up a game plan, and Fields is going against the Lions, and it's going to be wet. It's going to be rainy. That doesn't bode well for Jared Goff holding on to the football. I think Justin Fields is going to end up having a better game than we expect, just because we expect nothing at this point. When we return, who needs to show us something in Week 4 of the 2021 NFL season? We'll do that next on PFT Live.
Pro Football Talk is brought to you by Verizon. 5G built right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.